You know what, Matt?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sharing this video.
Why
Now
are
it's
you
only going to get 4 views. I
Are
don't
you
know.
gonna buy that dress? What's the...
I don't know. It stopped. Don't you love
Your
that?
Covenant Eyes is gonna have a heyday.
Welcome to 3 Abecedarians. My name is Jordan. This is Flat, and that's the Brain. We are here to talk about the opposite of incompetent.
Incompetence.
Today we are talking about incommons. What letter are we on? Q?
Quantity.
Quality.
People who did their jobs well in the Bible, and I'm telling you, there's not a whole lot to choose from.
No, so we're probably going to have
We are
some
a
obvious
sad
one. I'm going first.
Aww.
No, you
Better not
can
look
go
at
first. I
my
went
notes.
first last time.
Nobody look at my notes.
Brian, you
I
go
went first
first.
last time. Last time I just screamed. Remember that?
I remember you screaming, and I'm gonna have to beep it all out now.
Yeah.
All right,
We
what
gotta
you
beep
got,
a lot of
Brian?
stuff
You
out.
actually wrote notes.
Actually, yeah, I actually did because I was trying to think of who
2 minutes, go.
did the right thing. Samuel. I think Samuel. So
Oh, not
so-
Samson. Okay.
no, not
Well,
Samuel.
That's what I
No.
was
So Samuel. So Samuel's mom. Her name was Hannah, and so she was this. I don't know if she was the first wife or second wife. There were 2 wives. She was one of 2 wives of this guy who had a name who I don't remember because I didn't care. So she and this other woman were both married to the same guy. The other lady had a bunch of kids. Hannah did not. Hannah was barren. And even though her husband actually, it says, which is kind of a theme in a lot of these stories, the husband loved her more, the other wife was the one that kept having kids. And so the other wife was kind of like, he might love you more, but you got no kids. So
Quality,
so-
not quantity.
Right. So Hannah was, bitter about that. She was a little angry she wasn't having kids. So she, prayed to God, wanting kids. And she went to the temple, because that's where they went and prayed. And it so happens that Eli, who was a priest.
Eli. You mean
Words
Elisha?
are hard.
No, Eli.
Eli.
So Eli, whose sons got a reputation later for doing all kinds of bad things, Eli was not a great teacher to his sons. His sons went off the deep end. And
There's a long
anyway,
line of bad dads there.
Yeah, it's true. So anyway, so she goes and she's praying in the temple, and she's just kind of talking without, like, inaudibly. She just, looks like she's just mumbling to herself. So Eli thinks she's drunk, because this is what drunk people do. So he goes over to her and he's like, when are you going to stop being a drunk, lady? And she's like, no, I'm not drunk. I'm just sad because I don't have any kids. And so Eli then gives her like this blessing that says, what does he say? Something along, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked him. So apparently I had the King James version in this online thing that
He's
I was
got
looking
the
at.
original Sanskrit.
Grand.
So Eli has this blessing and says, God's going to give you, may God give you what you want, which is she wants this child. And so she had promised then, she said, God, if you give me this child, I'll give the child back to you. I will, So she gets pregnant. She has this son Samuel, who she then brings back to Eli, the priest, and gives him for the service in the priesthood. And then Samuel ends up taking Eli's place later, because Eli's sons were terrible and they got killed and whatever. Samuel has a great history of doing the right thing. The first of which, I told this is the whole reason I even looked it up, was when he was a kid and he's sleeping. I know. He's a kid and he's sleeping and he hears his name. And so he runs into Eli and he's like, here I am, what do you need? And Eli's like, I didn't call your name, go back to bed. Goes back to bed, hears his name again, comes running back in. Eli's like, will you stop waking me up? I didn't call your name. So then finally Eli figures out, it's God that's calling Samuel. And so then, God speaks to Samuel, blah, blah, blah. Long story, short story is, I feel like Samuel was one of those guys who did the right thing.
He was the goat.
And he got called up after he died by Saul.
Yeah.
Saul called him out of, and then he was mad at Saul.
And Saul,
which
yeah,
is
Samuel was like,
interesting.
"What?
The ghost of Samuel.
Are you out of your mind? Did you lose your
Yeah.
mess there, guy? Because
Yeah.
this is a bad move.
Yeah.
This is not okay."
You should not have done
Who's yours?
that.
My person is Tabitha, who is also called Dorcas, but for the sake of the giggles, we're going to call her Tabitha. No offense to all the Dorcases out there. I do know at least one, and she's a lovely lady. Tabitha, she was part of the new church in the New Testament, and she was it's believed by scholars, it's not stated specifically in scriptures, that she was perhaps a widow because she worked very closely with widows. And she was probably pretty well off. So her husband must have been someone of importance or power or great wealth, because he left her in a very agreeable condition when he died. So much so that she was able to take care of people in need, widows specifically. She made them coats, she made them blankets, and she got ill and died, which is, I don't know about you guys, but that's what people do. I mean, that's my experience.
It's true.
It's going to happen, right? None of us get a free pass from dying. However, when she died, which is the natural order of things, everybody lost their minds. They went completely berserk and they were heartbroken. They were mourning like crazy. So my guess is she wasn't just making coats and blankets. She was probably heading up, spearheading, taking control of a whole lot of charitable efforts and taking care of a lot of people. And her death, her passing, meant very grim, like a very grim future for the people she was taking care of. So much so that they contacted Paul, who was not even in that city at the time. They contacted him and said, hey, you need to come and see this woman. She's died. She has been prepared for burial. You need to come see what you can do about this. So Paul goes to her, says, leave me alone with her. And he prays. And then he says, Tabitha, get up. And she opens her eyes. And he brings her back. And he takes her to the people. And he shows. And they're all like, oh, my goodness. You're alive. So she keeps making blankets and coats. Now, that's all we know about Tabitha. But we can infer that she was very influential and very important to the needy people in that town at that time. And I think it's safe to say that... hang on a second. Oh, I just want to knock this stupid orange hat right off your head.
I went with Joshua.
Good for you.
Numbers 13 is when he is introduced to the scene with his boy Caleb. And Moses sends people out, well, God sends them out, to go scout the promised land. And Joshua and Caleb are sent out with a bunch of other from the tribes of Israel. And they go and they come back and everyone's like, no, we can't do it. It's too bad. They're too strong. We can't beat them. And Caleb says,
yes, we can.
and so Joshua. And so they end up, spoiler alert, going on a long time.
Wait, so how come you didn't do Caleb then? Because you just put his name first.
I know, because I think Joshua knocked down a city. And that's
Joshua's known for Jericho.
Jordan likes big
so
examples.
you're going with the backstory is Caleb
Yeah,
and Joshua,
backstory.
and then you're moving on
And
to
then
Joshua.
Joshua,
and took
yeah.
out, yeah,
But I'm just going to keep it
the Caleb story.
That's just Joshua. He does everything he's asked. He's a soldier for the Lord. He ends up the Israelites after Moses dies. And so that's pretty cool. He leads them into the promised land. He fulfills the promise and the covenant with God. My boy Joshua.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's put these into applicable scenarios. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, are you going to hear the voice of God?
Yes.
No. Are you going to march 7 times around a city and blow your trumpets and the walls are going to come tumbling
But
down?
if I could,
No.
I've thought of some cities.
Can you take care of the needy in your hometown? Yes, you can.
Oh, you're trying to just say yours is better than ours.
I'm not saying
Hold
mine's
on.
better. Mine's more relevant.
Hold on. Yours is not more relevant.
It's so relevant.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
okay.
relevant at all.
Yeah,
Should we sort these people?
Yours is relevant
Mine's
to like,
Gryffindor. Yours a stinking Hufflepuff.
mine's Hufflepuff. So yours is relevant in that regard. I would say mine is relevant to saying like you do the right thing even at the risk of even under great risk you should still do the right thing. Because
Yes.
Samuel had the risk of his own life and all that
That is
kind
an
of stuff.
extreme example. There we go.
Yours might be relevant, but mine is relative.
I don't even know what that means.
No.
Is that
Relative-
pomegranate soap?
Wait, are we sorting them or not?
Wait.